Hi, my name is Odhran and this is my story. So when I arrived here, I started following a couple of Facebook groups just to get a sense of what was happening in the gay community here. And that's when I saw Single Step was starting. And I thought that was a really great initiative because I'm from a small town in Ireland, and growing up I was kind of isolated. So having a resource like Single Step would have been really important to me. So I hope it is to a lot of Bulgarians. Well, historically, Ireland has been a very religious country. Ireland is predominantly Roman Catholic, and the Roman Catholic faith puts a lot of emphasis on the family unit, the traditional family unit. So this has affected our culture quite strongly, where ideas that are a little bit different from that have been very slow to take hold. So for example, divorce was only introduced in Ireland in 1996, which is much slower than other countries in Europe. I think Bulgaria has the same emphasis on a strong family unit, and I think this can be difficult for a lot of Bulgarians because they won't come out because they're afraid of upsetting their families. During the debates on gay marriage in Ireland, one of the arguments that came up was that gay marriage would kind of disrupt or detract from this traditional idea of the family unit, but actually it hasn't at all. I mean, we've seen that gay marriage has just included the existing LGBT families, and it doesn't affect traditional families at all. It's only been a positive thing. So Ireland has taken huge steps towards equality all within my lifetime. Starting in 1993 was the decriminalisation of homosexuality. Then maybe 17 years later, in 2010, we introduced civil partnerships. Civil partnerships are kind of like marriage, but with less of the same rights. That was actually kind of controversial in the gay community because some people felt that we might not achieve full marriage equality if we had civil partnerships available. But as it turned out, that wasn't true, because in 2015 we introduced gay marriage. A few couples I know have been married. I think since marriage equality was introduced, maybe over 2,000 couples have been married. But I think the main drive for marriage equality in Ireland was we had civil partnerships, but civil partnerships weren't equality. So it effectively made gay Irish citizens second-class citizens because they didn't have all the same rights as other people. So for me and other LGBT people in Ireland, it was a huge milestone. It's something we've been fighting for over 25 years. So we all celebrated. It was a huge celebration all over the country. And it was also really personal because it was voted for by the public. It was referendum, and it was overwhelmingly accepted. It was 62% in favour, which in a controversial topic like that is huge. So it was really great. The day before the vote, I texted everyone in my family to ask them, or just to encourage them to vote and to tell them what this means to me. And I was very lucky that they all came back with supportive messages. The main opposition to the gay marriage bill was by religious groups. They kind of felt that it would disrupt the traditional family unit, it would detract somehow from it. But this was heavily criticised by, for example, single parents, divorced parents, and actually we saw a lot of children of gay parents speak out and ask for their families to be recognised. So for me growing up, the only resource I really had available was online as a teenager. Schools in Ireland are typically denominational, which means most of the schools are Catholic. So in this environment it's a little bit difficult, even for teachers, it's quite difficult to introduce these topics. I didn't come out in school, I don't know anybody that did, but I hope that this is changing now, and I think it probably is. There are organisations taking steps in schools. They're running educational programs, they're having counselling services. Organisations like Belong To, and another one is Shout Out, which goes to schools and workplaces and does workshops on homophobic bullying. So these organisations like Belong To and Shout Out are doing a lot of work in this space. Belong To in particular has centres, safe spaces, support services, counselling. They run educational programmes. I think last year Belong To had a campaign called Stand Up, which went into schools and encouraged students to stand up to homophobic bullying if they saw it in their school. I think this reached like 35% of secondary schools, so it was quite a widespread campaign. Unfortunately, we still do see a lot of statistics coming out from Ireland saying that LGBT teens are more at risk than their peers for suicide, so there's still a lot of work in this space to do. So there are a couple of openly gay Irish politicians, probably starting with Senator David Norris, who was the lead campaigner for the decriminalisation of homosexuality in 1993. He was actually in Sofia recently giving a talk on the 25 years since the decriminalisation. Then in 2006, TD Catherine Zappone brought a High Court case to try and have her Canadian marriage to a woman legalised in Ireland. Unfortunately, this wasn't successful. But actually our current head of government, Leo Varadkar, is gay. I don't think this has ever been a problem for Irish people. They're usually much more likely to criticise his policies over his homosexuality. I think it's important to continue making steps towards equality all the time. For more than 25 years, an innumerable number of people in Ireland have been working every single day fighting for equality. And I think it's important to keep that battle up all the time. As progressive as Ireland is, I've still personally met people who've been kicked out of their homes for being gay. So I actually think these groups like Belong To in Ireland and Single Step here are really important because they support the community. They support our groups so that people have the freedom to become the social and political activists that we need for these changes to take hold, to happen. As a foreigner here, I've been really accepted and people have been so accommodating to me that it doesn't feel right to say that Bulgarians are not an accommodating people. They are very open, but I think there does need to be much more discussion and openness around the topic of homosexuality in particular. Well, firstly, you've got this resource of Single Step available to you, so take advantage of it. If you need to reach out to someone, they're there, the phone line is there, and the online chat is there. I grew up isolated in a small town in Ireland, so I know what the feeling is. For me, I just had to wait. I had to wait until I went to college, to university in Dublin, and there was a LGBT group there, and that's when I found my community. And that was where I met my first boyfriend, and everything just got better from there.